What's up, guys? It's Brian with brandstack.co, and today I'm going to walk you through quickly our new section called Slider for Shopify 2.0 stores. Let's jump right in. So we're here on the back end. We've already installed the section, and we're going to click Customize, and then we're going to navigate to where we actually want to put this on our website. For this video, we're going to build it just on the 404 page just because it's blank and it's easy to see. So on the left-hand side, you can click Add Section, and then you can search for your new section, Slider. It might be under BS, which stands for Brand Stack. Now, by default, it's going to throw it at the bottom of the page. And I'm going to add a couple of blocks here to show off what it can do. So there's a couple different aspects of this. We have our section, which is the overall settings, and then we have blocks, which make up these individual blocks over here. And we're just going to quickly recreate an About Us slider. So let's go through the section settings first. Over here on the right-hand side, we can hide it on desktop or mobile if we want. We can change the background color. Let's do a soft gray. We can add some padding on the top and bottom, and then we can choose content on the left with blocks on the right, blocks on the left with content on the right, or content on the top with blocks on the bottom. And we are gonna stick with content on the left for now. And then we can choose the alignment. Now this is referring to this content alignment, not the overall content. So we can play with our heading. And then we can increase or decrease our heading size, change the color here if we want. You know what, let's actually make this black for the sake of this. And then we can change our description text. And the font size as well. Now we also have a section button. So we could say, get to know us, and it could take us to the About page. And we can open this link in a new tab. We can change the color of this button along with the text color and the size. And we can also change the hover color. So let's say we want it to go a little bit darker on hover, something like this. And you'll see it actually still has the text color on hover as white. We'll want that to be black as well. And that's what it looks like. And then we can also play with the border radius. We can also play with the block settings. Now these are the settings for the block over here. We can change the box radius. We can change the number of blocks we can see at a single time. Now the reason it's doing this is because I only have 3 blocks, but if we add more here, we'll add a couple there and then we'll click save. Sometimes we like to save it throughout because it refreshes the settings. But now, as you see, we can add like 4 or 5 here, and you can scroll through right here. We're gonna stick with 3. And then we can increase or decrease the block padding between each block. We can add some padding at the top and bottom, or padding at the right and left. We'll go with 10 and 16. And then we can jump to our arrows setting. So we can hide the arrows if we want. We can choose to have it above the slider or inside the slider right here. We'll have it above. We can change the arrow size, and then the arrow size on hover. So as you can see, when I hover, it gets slightly bigger. We can change the vertical padding, make it above the blocks a little bit more. We can add some space between each arrow. And then we can change the arrow's color as well as the fill color. So we have it yellow here. On hover, it's set to white. We can change that to a darker yellow. So as you can see, when we hover over it, it's a little bit darker. And the last thing we have in these section settings is the progress line settings. This progress line is referring to this down here at the very bottom. First of all, we can hide it if we want, or we can choose a different background color as well as a line scroll bar color. Let's say we want it red. So what this does is, as I click through, it's gonna show us our progress until we get to the end. And we're going to revert that back to how it was. Actually, that looked pretty good. Again, we're gonna click save, and then we're gonna jump into the block settings. We're gonna come over here and click block. Now, let's say we want this background to be completely white. Let's select an image. We'll just fill one out for me real quick. Those images aren't loading, but I know it's that one. So it's this picture of me. Now we can do a couple things here. We can change the image size, and we can, if it's small enough, you can change the alignment to left, right, or center. We'll keep it left for now. We can go all the way here to make it the full width of the block. And then we can also play with the image radius. Now, what we can also do is remove the image outer margin. So it'll just make it go edge to edge on that block. But you got to make sure you also still have this image size all the way up or big enough that it will fill up the entire block width. Next, we can play with the heading. So we could say Brian Hermanson, which is my name. We can change the font size there. We can change the color. We can change the alignment. And then we can say Brian. And then we can change the font size. We can change the color if we want it to be a little more gray. We can change the alignment. And then just like the section settings, we can have this button here. We could say about. And any of these things, by the way, if you don't want it in that block, you simply leave it blank. Get rid of that, and it will get rid of that button there. So we can leave it blank, except for the fact that I want to show off where it actually, looks like in the block. So we'll add it back in here. And again, we can change the color, we can change the text color, the size, the hover color. Say we want it slightly darker. And that is what it looks like. And then we can also change the radius as well as the alignment of that button. Now, what I like to do is I like to build one block, and then I actually come here and I usually delete these blocks if the rest of the blocks are gonna be fairly similar. That way we don't have to set up all the exact settings every single time. What I like to do is make one block and then come to the top right here and just duplicate that block as many times as I need it. So at that point, I can then just come in here and swap out the different things I want. I can add Kara here, and then I can go to my next one and I could add Andy here, and just kind of change out whatever you need to do. Now, last thing, I just want to show you what it looks like on mobile. So we can change this to be on the left, the right, or above. On mobile, however, it's always at the top with this slider at the bottom. That's just a lot more clean. Didn't want to mess with any mobile settings. This makes it nice and centered on your screen, no matter what size, no matter what phone you're viewing it on. So it's just nice and clean on mobile. Make sure you click save, and that is the slider section. We can't wait to see what you build with it.